Prosperity and abundance through the Most High Elohim. I am Mrs. Melanin Rains, and you are tuned into Don't Misquote Me, the podcast. Now, I am super excited to get this kicked off. I think the first episode is probably only going to be available via melaninrains.com and also on YouTube. In the future, we will go ahead and spread to other platforms, but I definitely wanted to go ahead and get this kicked off without further ado. So this first episode, we're going to cover Black men versus Black women. Is it conditioning or a coincidence? And I do want to mention the fact that I am creating these episodes solely and most purposefully for Black women. I do hope that other audiences will also tune in and enjoy it, but these episodes are going to be solely for Black women. So I'll have to catch my flow with speaking more directly to my sisters. And the reason being with that is that those are the people I want to reach the most. That is the crowd of people that I really am passionate about. There's so much rhetoric out in the world right now where it seems like Black women are the easiest target. So when it comes to myself, when it comes to older women, younger women, women of all ages, but Black women in specific, I just want to go ahead and do something for them. So when I say I want to do it for them, it does not mean my sisters that I am going to sugarcoat things. It does not mean that I am going to allow us to stray away from accountability, but I am going to speak with love and compassion while being honest and vulnerable about my path and some of the things I've been through and some of the things I think that we need to speak on. So when it comes to this whole thing about Black men versus Black women, the question is it conditioning or a coincidence? Now, if you know anything about the world we're living in, the society and how it is structured, you know it is certainly conditioning, and even coincidence is it speaks on coinciding, right? And when something coincides with another, it's in alignment to some degree. So I guess you can say it's a little bit of both. I know when most people think of coincidence, they think, oh, it just happened by chance. But there is a connection between anything that coincides, okay? So, and hopefully the breathing isn't too heavy on the mic. I got a new setup and I am really trying everything out for the first time. But like I said, I didn't want to waste any more time getting this podcast kicked off. I really want to go ahead and speak on a video that I watched, right? And in this video, now it's kind of specific to what I'm talking to, but it's really what conjured this conversation in my head. And the guy was basically saying, how is it that a woman can trap a man? And maybe I'll be able to insert the video into this program. I'm not going to make any promises, but I might be able to do that. So basically he's like, how can a man trap a woman? I hope I didn't say that wrong the first time. How can a man trap a woman? And he's basically telling the people like, a hit dog gon' holler and you loud as F right now, right? With that being said, it brings something to my mind, like all this talk about single mothers, right? And the conversation being directed heavily towards Black women. We are the leading I don't even want to say participants, but we lead in I believe single motherhood. And I think another thing the brother, not the same brother, but another brother has said was that we're also least likely to get married. And Again, I'm reminding you guys, Black women, my sisters, I'm speaking to you. I'm not here to bash Black men. I'm not here to coddle Black men either. And I'm not here to make Black women feel as though everything is their fault, because, beloved, it is not. Now, the first thing I want to say about the whole trapping thing. First of all, for the brother, it was just complete. It just let me know, like, I don't know where, actually, I want to say I don't know where men are coming from with all this bitter energy on the internet. And I don't even want to use the word bitter, but it's like they're trying really hard to portray Black women as bitter, miserable, angry, etc. And in the midst of trying to do that, they are literally being bitter, angry, and nagging all over the internet and embarrassing. Not only they think they're embarrassing us, but they're especially embarrassing themselves. So with that, I want to talk about the sexual behavior, number one, as Black women. And then I want to talk about also the reasoning for Black men coming at us in the way that they are. So we'll start with the sexual behavior, just so I can keep on contact with the guy, basically saying how, because he's insinuating almost, and I don't know if he was being specific to Black women, I'm not sure, but he is a Black man. So we'll talk about it in that context, man. And I just have to say to Black women, young women especially, you're going to have to tighten up. We're going to have to tighten up a lot. There's too much accessibility that these men have to our bodies, too much accessibility to our time, to our intimacy. We need to tighten up. We really need to tighten up, because we are being devalued. We are being made to be like a point of mockery. We are being abused. We are being left behind by the men that are supposed to be our protectors. And with all of this going on, another video actually comes to mind. See, I've been on TikTok lately, and there's so many things that is going on there that I really need to cover. But I seen a video, and the girl was like, she's 19, and this is not necessarily me judging, but she said she's 19 and she's on her second child. And when I looked in the comments, I seen so many teenagers saying the same thing. That's a problem. It is. And not to shame them, because for me as a young woman, I really realized that there's so many things that just weren't put in perspective for me, that weren't taught out of love. There really wasn't that feminine sense of direction and all of those things. As a collective, we lack that. And due to a lot of the things that we experience as a collective, and the brokenness and all of the trauma, and this it's really no excuse. But we step out into the world, and we step out into the world with blinders on, seeking validation in certain ways, or thinking life is a game and life is a joke. And it doesn't only impact us, because once you involve not other people, once you involve your children, once you start procreating, it's a huge difference. Okay, and I'll be clear, I'm not afraid to say this at all. I don't even need to use the title pro-life. It's not about that. I just simply do not believe in abortions whatsoever. That is for me. That is my personal choice. So I am not someone who, I'm just not in a position where I can handle an abortion. I'm not going to allow myself to do something like that. And also, I stand firmly on those beliefs. I don't really care to go back and forth about semantics. It's not about that. But for me, in my personal decision, my life, within my household, that is a no-no for me. And so with that being said, like, for those other, I know a lot of people, they'll just say, oh, birth control and abortions and this and that. But I want Black women, I want women to realize how much burden is put on us. Why is all of the burden put on us? That's what you need to think about. Because with this whole women empowerment thing, I don't think women realize that movement had been hijacked by narcissistic, misogynistic women and narcissistic, misogynistic men. So when you hear my body, my choice, it directly goes to things like abortion, or it directly goes to being so-called sexually free, where you can have sex with whoever you want. Both of those things usually benefit the opposite person. It doesn't benefit the woman. It causes the woman all types of different mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual stress and turmoil. And so those are things I really want to be honest about. So when it comes to the sexual behavior of our young women, of us as women, as a collective of women, there needs to be a shift. Another thing with that is, like, as soon as you start to mature as a young woman, you see older women start to view you as competition. They'll call you fast. Even the men, they'll call you fast and talk about all of the things that you're doing wrong, instead of offering love and divine correction. Okay, and I can't speak about that enough. That's something for another day that we'll have to break down. But it's disheartening, because a lot of us are misdirected. We are misled. Not every single Black person was born into a single family home. That's another thing. Not all of us are coming from single family homes where only we had a mother. That's not the case for everybody. So then when you see broken children in traumatic situations being birthed from 2-parent homes where the father was there, then what do these people have to say? There's so many young girls, young boys who grew up with their mother and father in the home, who still experience so many different forms of trauma. Okay, so with the sexual behavior, just to wrap that up really quick, we won't be able to get into everything in this particular episode, but I really want to set the tone for where we're going with this. My sisters, I hope that is received with so much love that, spiritually, we shouldn't be comfortable entangling with certain types of people. And it doesn't mean you've been with a lot of different people, but it means that so many things have to come before sexual intimacy. So many things, because when you allow someone to get you involved sexually early on, you won't even miss the red flags. You'll ignore them. Okay, so we definitely have to pass on that knowledge of being discerning. Reserving ourselves for something that is true is not just about, a lot of people say marry before you carry. There's so many married women who feel like single mothers. There's so many married women who do not have the support that they need in their homes. There's so many married women that end up in abusive situations. This thing is about discernment. We are truly spiritually at war. You have to know where you stand, and you have to know what you could be potentially going up against. And if you know a certain energy is not for you, if you're looking for longevity, if you're looking for commitment, if you are looking for a peace of mind, you got to, and you have to truly and thoroughly take time for yourself, to evolve in yourself, to evolve in your feminine for you and how it benefits you and your lineage to come. Your femininity is not reserved for a man. It's not. Society has these things so skewed. Your femininity is not defined by a skirt that you wear or the lipstick you wear. That is all the outer. That is still an aspect of masculine energy because it is outer. It is the manifestation. Your femininity reigns from what you are innately, how you heal innately, your character, your integrity within. All of those things are very important for us as women. Your femininity can bring you so many blessings from the Most High. From the Most High. Because you may not always be able to depend on a man. This is not about independence. This is not about I can do it all about myself. But it is about look out into the world and see who you are dealing with. Our men have been turned over to a reprobate mind. They operate primarily from narcissistic defense mechanisms. Our protectors have become predators. And that is something that I do not want us as women to overlook. Because the times people may feel like, oh, times are getting better. Times are not getting better. You have to choose better. All right, family, thank you for tuning in. We are going to make that topic a 3-part segment. So if you enjoyed it, make sure you stay tuned for the rest.